Hey Laowinners, it's Laowinners here with another video, and today, because my wife is not next to me, I can actually spill my guts about how I actually feel about her. Today, we're going to talk about 5 things that I absolutely hate about my Chinese wife.
Dude, you're already at the...
Number 1 is showering. Now this might sound a little bit weird because taking a shower is something that we all do, or a bath, you know, kids like to take baths. But it's very, very important to Chinese people that you shower at a certain time of day, and that is at night before you go to bed. It doesn't matter if I've been working on my car, or working on my bike, or actually just stayed at home and played video games all day. My wife used to make sure that I showered before bed. I was considered filthy and dirty. I'm not allowed to get into bed unless I take a shower. Thankfully, she's kind of gotten over this, and she knows that in order for me to wake up and actually be, get work done throughout the day, I'm gonna have to take a shower in the morning. It's just a habit of mine. But I know a lot of Chinese women, and like I said, my wife used to be like this, that absolutely cannot deal with the fact that you don't take a shower before bedtime. Number 2 is her family. I know that sounds bad, and actually we're totally cool with each other. There's a bit of a love-hate situation kind of going on with my parents-in-law, but nobody told me before I was gonna marry this absolutely beautiful Chinese girl that I would have to marry her family as well. Whether it's her dad walking through my apartment in his pajamas because he's just gotten up from his noon nap and I'm trying to get work done in my living room, or I open up my freezer and all of my ice is gone because I'm gonna get stomach cancer if I eat anything cold. My mother-in-law has dumped it all out. Or the fact that there's vegetables and coins and fruits in random piles around my house. I have no idea what they're doing, stocking up for some apocalypse or something. And honestly, the worst of it is like getting together with her huge, huge family and everyone's shouting at like 500 decibels in random Chinese dialects that I don't understand. What happens is they'll try to speak to me in Mandarin for a little while, but then eventually everyone reverts to some insane random Huizhou, Hakka, whatever dialect, and I have no idea what they're talking about. And you have to make sure in China, and this is super important, to address people by their specific title. So for example, if you met my dad, you could just call him Mr. whatever, Mr. Milk, we can say. But if you actually meet a Chinese person's family, you have to call the grandmother Po Po and Shu Shu and Ai and Biao Mei and Biao Ge and Di Di. There's all these crazy little titles that you have to do. And it's really important, not so much for the younger generation, but for like the grandparents. I remember specifically one time I walked into Vivi's grandma's house and I said "Po Po Hao," like that means hello grandma, as I walked into her house, but she didn't hear me. She's a little hard of hearing. She's like 90 years old. And it became this massive controversy about how I disrespect the family and a foreigner will never understand the Chinese people, and it's so important that you address grandma. And actually it caused this huge argument amongst her family, and Vivi had to like defend me and be like, no, she just didn't hear him, and it's not that big of a deal. And still to this day, people are all pissed off at me because I didn't say hi to grandma. All that being said, me and my wife's family are totally cool now. And honestly, it brings a very interesting dynamic to how things work, because if I was just marrying into my own culture, I wouldn't have anything to learn about. It'd be on easy mode. But now I kind of have to put up with stuff. They have to put up with me. And it's a tit for tat situation. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Number 3 is actually the fact that she is obsessed with finding bargains. Now, growing up in the household that I grew up in, my mother saved a lot of money by cutting coupons and shopping around for sales. And it was a big part of her Sunday schedule, kind of after church. And I actually do appreciate that because she taught me a lot of good money management techniques and how to not throw everything away, especially in my culture where everyone thinks they deserve everything equally, which puts a ton of people into debt. The guy down the road that makes $1 million a year has the same TV as the guy that makes maybe $15,000 a year and is on welfare benefits. That kind of never made sense to me, and it's probably because of the values that were instilled by my parents. However, my wife takes it to a whole nother level. She will, and I kid you not, find a restaurant that maybe has a little bit of a discount going on and ask me to wait outside in front of that restaurant for up to 2 hours just to get a table, when in fact I could spend $15 to $20 more down the road, get the exact same thing, and not have to waste my 2 hours. The concept of time as money simply does not exist in a lot of Chinese minds. And my wife is having a very difficult time getting rid of that kind of cultural aspect, we might say. It's something that probably will help us in the long run because she's always finding ways to save money. She's always finding ways to skirt the system a little bit and save a little bit more in the bank, which is a good thing. But it's also putting me into a position where I kind of would rather just waste my money to make the problem go away faster. So this is probably one of the biggest aspects that I'm having a hard time dealing with my wife, and probably one of the biggest cultural differences. That being said, it's not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, if we can talk through it and kind of work things out, I think we will. Number 4 is buying meats and vegetables every single day. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say you cook some broccoli for lunch and you're going to have some spinach for dinner or something, right? In China, people have to go out in the morning because of, I don't know, maybe a historical lack of refrigeration or something, and go out and buy those fruits and vegetables and meats exactly fresh, exactly the day they were picked and harvested. They even pay more money for vegetables that have dirt on them because they look like they were just pulled from the ground. Same with the meat. It has to have been butchered that day. They don't want to go buy frozen meat at the supermarket. They don't want to prep for the week. I don't know about you guys, but my mom would buy groceries once a week, go downstairs, take them out of the car, put them in the fridge, put them in the freezer, put them in the pantry. You have a whole week's worth of meals ready to be cooked. My wife took so long to get over this and start buying things at supermarkets that were already frozen or already packaged, or even fresh vegetables and stuff that may have been imported from somewhere else, because to her, that wasn't fresh enough. It has to be the freshest of the fresh. It has to have come from the animal that day. You need to see the blood on that animal. And especially in Guangdong, down in southern China, people want to see that animal alive. If they can go there and see that animal being butchered, or a fish that's still alive, or an octopus, or scallops or clams, whatever, they want to see those things bubbling in the water. They want to see that life being sucked out of them. All jokes aside, it's a real serious thing. I have no idea why people still can't get over this, because China is a modern country now, well, at least fairly modern, and people don't have the necessity to go buy those kind of things fresh every single day. Number 5, and the last one, is why the hell does she need to call me every 2 frickin' minutes? Seriously, I've dated girls from multiple countries, the majority of them being from my home country of the US, but for some reason, Chinese girls, and I hate to lump them all into this, but my wife is definitely guilty of this, and the other Chinese girls I dated, you have to call me about everything. It's not just like, oh, I miss you, or oh, have a good day at work. It's like, I'm at the supermarket and I'm gonna buy you a $5 pair of sweatpants because you told me you wanted some sweatpants to work out in. She'll call me about that and ask me if that's okay to buy for a $5 purchase, which doesn't really matter, right? Just buy the sweatpants. But she'll call back and be like, oh, do you want black ones? Oh, they have these gray ones though. Oh, actually $5 is a little expensive. I feel like I could get those on Taobao a little bit cheaper. It's literally about everything. She'll call me about what meat to buy that week. She'll call me to plan something way ahead of time. Listen, Vivi, you don't need to call me to tell me that I need to pick up Olivia from preschool 4 weeks ahead of time. And your parents are going to come visit again 4 months later. We don't need to plan a trip to the airport that's 15 miles away. Gets out of hand. I have no idea why you're calling me so much. I love you to death, but you got to stop that. All in all, there's a lot to complain about, but at the end of the day, compared to a lot of relationships, I know it's nothing. It actually doesn't matter. We love the hell out of each other, and honestly, for all the stuff, the little minute details that I'm complaining about right now, she's way worse off because she has to put up with me.
如果你夠膽放出去，你會死得好慘。
You know what sucks is when you're living in China and you can't access anything on the internet. That's because it's blocked. The Chinese government really doesn't like a lot of the topics and videos that I cover, but the only way I can get them online when I'm in China is through a VPN. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode, because what you can do with NordVPN is unblock all those websites. But more importantly, if you're not in China and you do have access to the free internet, you're still open to all kinds of vulnerabilities and things like that. So using a VPN means that your data is safe, no one can take it from you, and no one can see what you're doing online. Also, I use it to shop around for plane tickets. You can get cheaper plane deals if you hop around different countries from their very convenient list of countries to choose from. And you can have the peace of mind that your connection is not only secure, but you can actually access things in other countries that you might not be able to access, like Netflix. Say you want to use Netflix in a country that doesn't have it, or you want to see certain TV series that are blocked or not available due to copyright issues, you can actually use NordVPN to go to that country and kind of pretend like you're there and see all that content. So don't forget to use nordvpn.com/Laowinners for a massive discount and 1 month free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laowinners. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to get a discount on anything, apparently you just got to come here, because people stand around with yellow signs and chant slogans about how much percentage is off things. And that's just the way the smuggle business goes, with mainlanders buying stuff, taking it back to China. If you want to see more behind the scenes content, don't forget to go to patreon.com/Laowinners, and you can contact me directly there too. Let me know what you think down below about these aspects that I didn't like about my wife. And maybe if you're in an intercultural relationship, or even not intercultural relationship, what are some things that you don't agree with your wife about? Don't forget that every single Wednesday at 1 PM EST, you can watch a Laowinners video. And don't forget, every single Monday, ADVChina, Adventure Talk Show on 2 wheels, every single Monday at 1 PM EST. And right below that, the guy that I run that channel with, Serpent ZA, Friday at 1 PM EST. Thanks.